Good morning, friends. Now, in the last class, I have discussed about the methods of estimation of heritability. So, in heritability estimation, we had seen there are several methods for estimation of heritability. Similarly, for estimation of repetibility, also there are many methods. So, I will be mostly concentrating on the numerical portion, but before that, I will just give you synopsis about the repetibility. And even before that, I am getting many of the queries from students that, sir, please explain about the genetic parameters. So, first of all, we'll see what is genetic parameter. Before that, I will request you all that if you are seeing this video on estimation of repetibility, and if you have not seen video on estimation of heritability, then it will be of no worth. So, before seeing this video, you first go through the video on estimation of heritability. So, now come to the genetic parameter. What are the genetic parameters? So, actually, I will not go much into the theory portion, but just I will give you an idea that genetic parameters are the parameters or are the measures which we have to know and we have to calculate on the population on which we want to strategize our selection or breeding or any kind of improvement if you want, and we have to make strategy, either selection strategy or breeding strategy. So, particularly when we are going for selection strategy, then you should know about the various genetic parameters of the population. So, what are those genetic parameters? So, these genetic parameters include heritability, we have already seen in the last lecture. Now, in this lecture, we will see repetibility. Heritability, if you recollect the last lecture, heritability actually is the transmission of gene, or you may say that in heritability we are discussing how much genes or how much portion of our variation is getting transmitted from one generation to next generation. Whereas repetibility, it is actually in layman term you can understand in this way that heritability is talking about the vertical transmission, whereas repetibility is talking about the horizontal transmission. What is the meaning of horizontal transmission? It means that here number of generations are not involved. Here only such traits are involved which are being repeated over the period of time. Like milk production. A cow is giving milk in his various lactation. The first lactation, again the lactation will be repeated in second lactation, then again in third lactation. Similarly, the poultry will repeats its egg production. First clutch, then second clutch, third clutch, fourth clutch, like that. So, this is the basic, or you can say that this is the main crux of the difference between heritability and repetibility. Then next is the genetic and phenotypic correlation. Genetic and phenotypic correlation between the traits. So, this is also coming under the genetic parameters. And the last but the most important is the breeding value, estimation of breeding value. In theory portion, in one of the lecture, I have dealt in detail about the breeding value. If you want to know what is breeding value, you just go through that video, you will get the idea of breeding value. In the next coming days, I think I will show you, I will discuss some of the numerical portions related with the breeding value. So, now let us start with repetibility. So, similar to heritability, this repetibility can again be defined in many ways. The first definition is mathematical definition, then statistical definition, and then genetic definition. So, what is mathematical definition? It is a measure of strength. Strength means reliability. It is a measure of strength of relationship between repeated records. So here it is the strength, measure of strength of the relationship between the repeated records. So if records are being repeated, how much relationship is there in between the repeated records? Suppose lactation is being repeated, so how much relationship is there between first lactation and second lactation? That is determined by repeatability. Or it is the strength of relationship between the single record and producing ability. Even if you are having one record, how it is correlated with the and how it can determine the producing ability on the individual of a population. So this producing ability can also be determined with the help of repeatability. In that context, one term is there that is called as most probable producing ability. It was given by Lush. So in some other lecture, I will be discussing on the MPP also, that is most probable producing ability, on which we will do one or two questions on the MPP or most probable producing ability. So this is the mathematical definition of repeatability. Now statistical definition. What is statistical definition of repeatability? It is the change in producing ability, change in the producing ability, PA, change in the producing ability expected per unit change in the phenotypic value of first record. So how much change will be there in producing ability if there is change in the first record? If there is 1 unit change in the first record, that is called as repeatability, and this is the statistical definition of repeatability. So how you can present it? So the mathematical definition can be presented. I have presented here repeatability with letter T. Actually, you can denote it as R also, but since I have taken here R as a correlation, that is why, to avoid confusion, I have written here as T as repeatability. So T is equal to correlation between the repeated records. So correlation R square and repeated record x1 and x2. Correlation between the repeated record. X1 is one record, first record, and second one is x2 is the second record. So similarly, you can go for n records also. Then and another one is it is a correlation between phenotypic value, or that is means first record, into correlation between phenotypic value of first record and producing ability, that is PA. So this was about the mathematical definition, correlation, measure of strength. So how you are measuring a strength? By determining the correlation. Now the statistical definition is the change in producing ability per unit change in the measurement of first record. So how it can be presented? It can be presented as in the form of regression. So T that is repeatability is equal to regression of producing ability on phenotypic value of first record. So in this way you can present, you can write the definition of repeatability in mathematical or statistical term. Now in genetics term, genetically it can be defined as the ratio of variance. So if you remember the heritability in genetic term also, it was ratio of variance. So variance of what? Variance of producing ability. What may determine the producing ability of a animal? What may determine the producing ability of an animal? So you know, I have already discussed in the previous lectures that phenotype of an individual is made up of two components. The first component is its genotype, and another component is its environment, the environment in which it is staying or living. So other than gene, all the factors are coming under the environment. For estimation of repeatability, what we have done, we have divided this environment into two parts. The first one is the permanent environmental effect, EP, which is called as EP, VEP, variance due to permanent environmental effect, and another one is the temporary environmental effect, variance due to temporary environment. So what may be affecting the producing ability of an animal? So you know, the temporary environmental effect may change. It may change day to day, or it may change hour to hour, or it may change year to year. But permanent environmental effect will be there for long period. So what we are assuming that this genotype as well as permanent environmental effect will be determining the phenotype of an individual. So now next, again coming to our definition, the ratio of variance of producing ability, that is genetic and permanent environmental, to that of the phenotypic value. So repeatability is the ratio of producing ability. So what will how producing ability will be defined? So it will be defined as the genetic variance plus permanent environmental variance, and it will be divided by, it is the ratio of phenotypic value. So phenotypic value will include all the factors. All the factors means genotype plus permanent environmental effect plus temporary environmental effect. So here you can see in this definition, you can see R, that is repeatability, is equal to Vg plus EP, Vg plus VEP means genotype plus permanent environmental effect, divided by Vg plus VEP plus VET. Vg means genotype, VEP means permanent environmental effect, and VET is equal to temporary environmental effect. So this ratio is determining the repeatability in genetic term. So in simple term you can say between individual variation divided by total phenotypic variance. Between individual variance divided by total phenotypic variance. So this is about the definitions of the repeatability. Now coming to the properties. So similar to heritability, here also if you recollect it from heritability, repeatability is the population measure. Heritability was also a population measure and not value associated with the individual. This is not a repeatability or heritability. It is not a value of individual, but it is a value of population, a property of population. It can be increased by same way that are used to increase the heritability. So heritability, how we will, as I have already discussed, how we can increase the heritability, same condition will apply here also. By formula you can also deduce that what are the factors that will increase or decrease the heritability. It is a properties of trait, population, environmental effect. That means it will also be a property of a particular trait, a particular population, and a particular environmental effect. That means it will vary from farm to farm, from time to time, and from environment or season to season, or trait to trait. So these were the properties of repeatability. Now what are the different estimation methods? So methods of estimation of repeatability in livestock policies. So there are three methods here. The first one is interclass correlation. So it is correlation between that we have already studied in statistics classes, how we are determining the correlation, interclass correlation. Another one is a regression method. We have already seen the PA into P. So this is a regression method. And the last one is the intra-class correlation. So in animal sciences, in animal breeding experiment, if you want to determine repeatability, we always use intra-class correlation. The next one is the how we can determine the correlation, repeatability by intra-class correlation. So here again there are two conditions, as in case of heritability also there were two conditions. The first one was the equal number of, there it was equal number of progeny per sire. Here it is equal number of measurement per individual. That is called as balanced design. So what will be the statistical model? So Yij is equal to mu plus Bi plus Eij. So there it was Si, the sire, effect of sire. Here it is the Bi, that is effect of individual. Bi is the effect of individual. Bi is the effect of ith individual. Sorry, it is not S, it is B. It is B. So Bi is the effect of ith individual. And rest of the notations are having their usual meaning. We have already discussed it in the heritability lecture. So you can go there and you can see what are the meaning of different notations. Now similar to heritability, here also we have to follow certain steps to estimate the reputability, and the steps are almost similar to heritability estimation, but there are some differences. So first one is the estimation of character factor, then total sum of the square, then between individual sum of the square. There we used to find the between sire sum of the square, here between individual sum of the square, then error sum of the square, then you have to prepare ANOVA table, then you determine the value of k, and this estimation of value of k will be important in case of unbalanced design. So we'll see how we can estimate the k value, then estimation of variance component and thereby heritability. Now after calculating everything, you have to calculate the variance and thereby, it is not heritability, it is repeatability. It is repeatability. Okay. Next, now you see one example. I have taken one example, and based on that example, you will be understanding how we can calculate the repeatability. So, a sample population of 5 sows. There are 5 sows, each followed 3 times. So they gave birth 3 times. So each of the sow has followed 3 times and produced litter size during different following as follows. So these are the each of the sow has followed 3 times. They have followed 3 times. So there are 5 sows. These are the sows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have followed 3 times 1, 2, and 3. So calculate the repeatability estimate and draw your conclusion. So this is here you can see the sow numbers, and here the following number. In each of the following they have used different sires. Sire 1, sire 2, sire 3. Now you can see the X11. X11 means sow number 1 mated with sire number 1. Then X21 is sow number 2 mated with sire number 1. Similarly here you can see X12 means sow number 1 mated with sire number 2. X13 sow number 1 mated with sire number 3. And this is the total. X1 dot means the sum of sow number 1 irrespective of the sires. And this is the grand total. So B is the number of individual. So here the number of individual B is 5 because you are having 5 sows. Now N is the total number of measurements. N is the total number of measurements. K is the number of measurement per animal. K is the number of measurement per animal. So similar to heritability, in case of heritability estimation, K was the number of progeny per sire. Here it is number of measurement because we are finding out the repeatability of a trait based on what? Based on the different measures of the trait. So now next what we have to do? We have to calculate the correction factor. So you calculate the correction factor, you square, this is the grand total square divided by total number of observations. So 90 square divided by 15, it is 540. Okay, each and every values you have to add, and you can see in the previous slide it was 90 only. So what we will do, we will square the 90 and divide it by total number of observations, that is 15. So 90 square divided by 15, this 540 is the correction factor. Now total sum of a square. So how you will find the total sum of a square? You have to square each and every value, and you have to subtract it by correction factor. So you squared each and every value, summed it come around 586, then you subtracted with the correction factor, and finally you got the total sum of the square. Now you have to find the between individual sum of the square. So for getting between individual sum of the square, there is you have to remember one thing, that's all. That is not that much difficult, but you have to remember one thing. for getting between individual sum of square, if number of observation, number of measurement per sow is equal, if number of measurement per sow is equal, then there is no any problem. You have to, here in our case, the number of measurement per sow is equal, that is 3. So it has been divided by 3 only. So you have to square each and every value per sire, not per sire, per sow. Just you go back and you will see. Here you can see for sow number 1 it was 12, sow number 2 21. So what you have to do, 12 square divided by total number of observations. So number of observation is 3. Similarly 21 square divided by 3, then 15 square divided by 3. So in the similar fashion you will be getting the here you can see 12 square, 21 square, 15 square, 19 square, 23 square divided by 3 is the total number of, or not total number of observations, number of observations per sow, and it will be subtracted by correction factor. So similarly, in the same way you got the between individual sum of square, that is 26.7. Now within individual sum of square or error, residual sum of square or error sum of square, SSW. So in the same way as we have determined in case of heritability, here you will get total sum of square minus between individual sum of square. So total sum of square was 46, you can see here it was 46, and it will be subtracted by between individual sum of square, that is 26.7, and you will get the total sum of square as within error sum of square or within individual sum of square as 19.3. So now you are having total sum of square, you are having between individual sum of square, and now you are having error sum of square. So you are ready for preparation of ANOVA table. So this is ANOVA table and also variance table. You can see the components of ANOVA table. I have already discussed this in detail when I was discussing about heritability. Here you can see you have to determine the degree of freedom. So between individual degree of freedom. So how many individuals were there? Total 5 sows were there. So 5 minus 1 is the degree of freedom, that is 4. Then total 15 individuals were there. So 15 minus 1 is equal to 14. 14 is the degree of freedom, total degree of freedom. And what about error? So 14 minus 4, you can go 14 minus 4 is equal to 10. So this is about the degree of freedom. Now you have already calculated sum of square due to between individuals, error sum of square also you have calculated, and total sum of square also you have calculated. Now what mean sum of square? So you have to divide sum of square with degree of freedom. So it will come around 6.67 and 1.93. So this is mean sum of square due to individual, and this is error mean sum of square. So error mean sum of square can be represented by sigma square W. Sigma square W, it is 1 minus 1.93. And mean sum of square between individual can be said as sigma square W, that is error mean sum of square, plus k into between sum of square, k into between sum of square. So this sigma square W is the error component of variance, and sigma square B is the variance between individual. So now you are having sigma square W. So if you write sigma square W, you have k. K is the number of record per sow. So here in this case the k is 3. So instead of k you will write 3, and then you will find the sigma square B. Sigma square B, because in the next slide you will see. So here you can see sigma square W is equal to 1.93. Now VP means phenotypic variance, is equal to sigma square B plus sigma square W. So 1.58 plus 1.93. 1.58 plus 1.93. Wow. How 1.58? 1.58 we are getting from here. Sigma square B we will get from here. Sigma square B we will get from here. As I already told you, if you put the value of sigma square W and k, you will get the value of sigma square W, and it is coming around 1.58. sigma square b. So the phenotypic variance you are getting is 3.51. 3.51. Now you have to estimate the repetibility. So how repetibility will be estimated? Repetibility will be estimated as between individual variance divided by total variance. Total variance means between individual variance plus error variance. Between individual variance plus error variance. So between individual variance is 1.58 and error, between individual variance plus error variance. So in this way you got the repetibility value as 0.45. And about the range of repetibility, the repetibility range will be similar to the heritability range. So on the basis of this result, you can conclude that about 45%, 0.45 can be represented as 45%. 45% variation in litter size is due to genetic effect and permanent environmental effect. So you know this repetibility is presenting two things. The one is the genetic effect and another is the permanent environmental effect. So I hope this is now clear to you. If you are having any confusion, you can ask me in comment section. But before ending, I will tell you now when the number of measurements are not equal. When number of measurements are not equal, then what you have to do? So for that there is one formula. As the condition unequal number of measurement per individual, which is unbalanced design, which is also known as unbalanced design. So with equal number of measurement per individual, Ni will be the different for different individuals. So here while calculating the total sum of square or between sum of square, individual sum of square, between individual sum of square, what we were doing, we were squaring the sum of the values of each sow and dividing it with the number of measurements it is having. But in our balanced design, the number of measurements were equal. But here in unbalanced design, it will be different. So what we have to do, we have to divide each and every value separately with the respective number of measurements. So the difference lies in the measurement of between sum of square, between individual sum of square, and the calculation of k. So how k can be calculated? K is equal to 1 by b minus 1. B is the number of sows or number of individual into n double dot. N double dot means total number of observation. Total number of observation. In this case, it was 15. And Ni square is the number of measurements per sow. So number of measurements per sow should be squared and summed up, divided by total number of observation, that is 15 in our previous example. So these are the two basic difference when your design is balanced and unbalanced. So now you just take one example, any one example with unbalanced design and try to solve it, and in case of any confusion you may ask me in the comment section. I will try to solve your queries. So with this I have finished the estimation of repetibility. So till now I have discussed the numerical portion of heritability and repetibility, and probably in next lecture I will be talking you about some other numerical portion. Thank you.